Hello everyone. So you're all welcome to your own channel Knowledge Realm. You know that this channel is made for shaping your career and to learn together and grow together. So with this in mind, I have already started a playlist on learning machine learning, and soon we will be including more and more lectures in it. If you haven't subscribed our channel yet, you can do it right now. And if you want to see our playlist on machine learning, you can just click on the tab above and you can just go to that playlist. So today we had a plan to include to help you guys to land up in a good job or to understand how the dynamics of industry is in terms of machine learning and data science. I was thinking like, how can I help? So what I did, I started talking to people in industry, and I thought it would be good if we can bring everyone together in a single platform and we can do some collaboration there. So with this in mind, I'm starting a new series on interviews with the industry people, and we will be interviewing many industry people, many researchers who land up in an industry to let you understand how you can also grow your career into the field of data science and machine learning. So today our guest is very special. So I'll just tell you quickly about him first. So his name is Dr. Thomas Yu. He's from Hong Kong, right now settled in Canada. So Dr. Thomas was a former strategist at Algorithmic Training Group and a quantitative trader at Tidal Trading US. He was also a lecturer at Open University of Hong Kong for numerical methods in finance. His career involves building quantitative models to buy and sell stocks, which he believes is a lifelong exploration process. In 2016, he formed a startup that uses AI for sports motion recognition and have been awarded champion for big data for business competition as well as multiple government grants. Upon that, he is also an alumni of Entrepreneur First, where we actually met, and which Entrepreneur First is a global deep tech accelerator backed by Greylock. His current startup, Mechanics, you can find the details of his startup below in the description, uses generative models for synthetic data for financial engineering applications. So I won't keep you much waited. I would like now shortly we will start the interview. And before that, I just want to let you know the agenda of the interview. We are planning to shape your career, and your career is in the focus for this interview. So I would request you all to view this whole interview. And there is one more thing I want to include here. So Mr. Thomas has agreed to collaborate with the channel where if anyone wants to have an internship, if you want to do an internship in such company, you can directly contact me, or you can directly contact him through the channel, and you will be given a fair opportunity to participate in the internship process. And I think this collaboration will help you guys a lot. So without further ado, let's start the interview. Hello everyone. So I would like you to meet Mr. Thomas Yu. And hello Thomas. How are you?
Hi Kumar, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. So how's the weather there?
Weather is never better here. So I'm currently in Vancouver, Canada. It's called beautiful British Columbia. And yeah, it's pretty good here. Yeah, things are slowly opening up. How about your side?
It's a bit, I guess, a bit summer is going now, like monsoon is coming. So
Right.
Weather is a bit humid, but it's survivable, no problem.
Oh, lovely.
I think you would like it when you will come here.
Oh yeah, I definitely got to visit India. Never been there, but would always love to.
Sure, sure. You would love. Okay, let's. Okay, so Thomas, tell me about your background. Like how you you studied and how you entered into the industry.
Right. So I did my undergraduate here in Canada in Simon Fraser University, where I studied physics and minored in mathematics. Then I did a master's in computer science, followed by a PhD in computational physics. That's in University of Nottingham in the UK. So in terms of how I entered the industry, it's a bit interesting because, with physics, there there are a lot of applications, right? But then you sort of have to go with your own niche. So for my niche, I decided to go with finance. So during second year, I started reading about it and learned that there are tremendous applications for physics in finance. In fact, most of the Wall Street quants are from physics or applied mathematics. So at that time, I was very interested and keen in learning more about finance and started reading about it, of course. So slowly I get the hang of it, and then I was hired for a job as a trader. Afterwards, I graduated from trading. Well, I'm still learning, but then I graduated from manual trading, then went into quantitative trading, where I build mathematical models to understand and predict the stock market.
Great to know that. So I can see that you have a very good mathematical background prior to joining the industry. So how did you carried out machine learning and data science, and how did you learn about machine learning and data science?
Right. I guess at the core of it, machine learning is nothing more than optimization, calculus, and linear algebra. So I mean, as a physicist, I know quite well about these subjects. So that enables me to carry on to learn machine learning by myself. Reading about it is a certain big part of it. There are two things that I usually do. One is that I learn about up-to-date techniques, okay, meaning, so attention mechanism, transformers, things like that. And then I also look into very particular niche that I'm working on. For instance, in financial mathematics, and how do you apply machine learning, right? To formulate the problem correctly is very important in machine learning. And I'm afraid that, there's no holy grail, but the continuous part of learning really matters in machine learning. Yeah.
Absolutely. So how do you rate your mathematics build up, like what you had your understanding on mathematics helped you in understanding data science and machine learning? Like how much do you think for you mathematics was important, and how much it helped you in understanding machine learning and data science?
Okay, so I think machine learning and data science is applied mathematics. Okay, so in mathematics, it's a language that you need to be able to understand before you try, going on to advancing a method, right? But there I would like to point out two things though. One is what I call the applicationist approach. As an application approach, what I usually do, go to GitHub, browse a web post, right, to see how others do it, and then try to look into the examples in GitHub, see what I understand, and see if I can run the examples. But bear in mind that I'm fully aware that I do not understand the mathematics at that point, okay? So sometime after I turn on the GitHub when it's, doing the transfer learning, for instance, I go ahead and try to understand the math behind, okay? So that you don't waste time there, okay? So on the other hand, there's a fundamentalist approach, okay? Which is start reading the paper and see, what is the paper trying to do, okay? With machine learning, there's a lot of jargon and there are different ways of formulating a problem. Now, the difficulty would be to, first of all, understand, what the paper is talking about. Second, to determine whether the results make sense, okay? So a lot of these machine learning models, right, they are there for very specific application. If you want to transfer from one application to another, you need to understand thoroughly how the model is constructed and how your data should be formulated. And I'm afraid to say again that very often you don't have a holy grail unless you even try it. Yeah.
Correct. So this is what I was also referring to all the viewers that for learning machine learning and data science, you need to go out and make your hands dirty and understand how the project works, and this is very important for everyone. So if I would ask you, what do you think is the current industry need, as a startups and a big grown company, for a machine learning engineer and a data scientist?
Right. So I'll go through one by one. Let's say machine learning engineering first, right? So for machine learning engineering, usually what they look at is, the common core, Python programming, maybe some C++, depending on which industry you're looking at. Also, TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch, right? I personally do not use PyTorch, right? So I don't know anything about it, but I'm a heavy user of Keras and sometimes TensorFlow as well, if I want to implement new stuff. So that is the ML engineering perspective. A data science perspective would be a bit different, right? So data science want to make sense of data, right? So besides the common core, right, and the Keras, right? So I think it's also very important to understand Bayesian statistics, or even old school machine learning techniques like SVM, random forest, right? Something very basic, because most of the time you can solve problems just with the basic techniques, right? And then you use deep learning to see whether it's enhanceable, right? Also for data science, I would strongly encourage taking like philosophy of science, right? And also, logic. That's very important in data science. Otherwise, you can train a model, right? But then you won't be able to choose out the science of it. Yeah.
Of course, you have to like understand the science behind the data. Then only you can do the modeling and make a best result out of it. So that's what we also do here. So okay. When did you decide to take a leap and become an entrepreneur? Like, you were good in the industry, you were having good experience. What triggered that, and how you decided to become an entrepreneur?
Right. In 2016, my colleague and I, there are a couple of us, decided to utilize time series prediction with machine learning and see how much we can do with motion recognition. At that time, wearable device was an uprising trend. So we decided, we know the math, we know the sport. At that time, it was kickboxing that we were interested in. So we attempt to see where there's a market opportunity for entrepreneurship. And that's why we left our job to pack our bags and see how far we can go with entrepreneurship. And then since then, I've never really turned back. Yeah.
Amazing to know. What does it take to become an entrepreneur? Everyone, like the viewers or someone who is like struggling in the market, would like to know what does it take? When can you become an entrepreneur, and what does it take to become an entrepreneur?
I think becoming an entrepreneur is a very challenging thing. I'm not gonna lie, very honest. What does it take to become an entrepreneur? A lot. By a lot, I mean, first of all, the ability to sell, right? Secondly, the ability to switch tasks constantly, right? Just because one has a data science experience does not mean that he or she would be a perfect fit for a CEO. CEO's ability is to sell and pitch, unfortunately. And unless you have a revenue driving business, the more deep tech you go seems to be the more difficult to sell, because the development time is relatively long compared to revenue business. So my recommendation is to always have multiple revenue streams for entrepreneurship. Do not rely on VC money as much as you would like, because sometimes deals fall through, and regardless of what they promise you, there's no guarantee. You can only guarantee one thing, and that's your own revenue, right? So
that's absolutely correct. You have to understand, you have to know your own revenue, and you should not be indulging towards always deep funding and everything.
Yeah.
So say something about your company, like what you do, and what is it about, and where are you right now?
Right. So what we do, so by the way, my company, it's a 2-people company at the moment. It's my colleague, David, which you know as well, and myself. So what we do is we use generative model, okay, to generate fake time series data. With the application is financial engineering. So what exactly the problem we're trying to solve is to avoid in-sample in financial predictions. So finance is by nature a relatively stochastic process, right? Where there's a certain element of randomness to it. However, if you overfit to the past data, then your model is not predictive, okay? What we want to do is to bring the previous data from a single universe into a multiverse, okay? That way, traders can see, oh, what if this happens? How much my portfolio is going to be down, or maybe how do I even tune my parameters for my deep learning model in finance when there is insufficient data, okay? So to do that, we use generative models. Yeah.
Great. So you mainly use generative models to create like artificial data and to have a proper training. Correct. That's something like it's a very huge use case also. So I can understand.
Yeah.
So are you like right now looking for like interns or full-time employee in your company?
Yes. So we're definitely looking for interns, and we're currently pitching to have more full-time employees because we just have so much work that needs to be done. And our problem is to look for good interns, right? So 90% of the time you have an intern, and then they have a lot on their CV in terms of coursework, right? But then that's not what we worry about. What we worry about is whether they can stand their ground independently, okay, do independent research, then explain results. That's the second thing. And more importantly, to think of new ways to do research that we have never thought of, right? And that's very valuable to us. So, yeah.
Great to know. So let's say some maybe in our viewer or someone who wants to apply from here, or like whoever is watching this video, how do you think he can like approach you, or how can he apply?
Okay, I think one way is certainly to apply through you, right? To apply through the channel, since the channel is all about learning about machine learning. What's the other place to be, right? Imagine. So another way is to maybe email me. That's also possible, right? But I think we are better off having our intern in touch with somebody, because we want to have somebody that we know in person, as a person that we know. And if they can apply through you, for instance, you can run a recommendation or pre-screening to help us to screen out proper interns. Yeah, it's not easy, right? Hiring interns, let's be honest. Right? And we wanted to tap into, talents in India. The problem that we have is we do not speak Hindi, right?
Absolutely.
And there are so many languages in India too. So, yes. I mean, I don't even know where to start, right?
Yes. So for that also, I have created a machine learning series on my other playlist you can see on the channel, which is in Hindi indeed. And I know that you have already seen few of the videos. So it would be great like if we can have some collaboration and people can apply through here. We can provide a small screening, and then we can send you some CVs which we find good.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
That's way our collaboration can help other people also.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
So we are now at the very end of our interview. I would like to know, like, if you want to say anything to our viewer or to our channel subscribers.
I think never stop learning about machine learning. Some of you would think it's an engineering process. To me, it's a discovery process. So it's more like Indiana Jones rather than building the next airplane. So also do not focus on the techniques. Focus on the principles. Being able to understand the principles allow you to have transferable skills over time. So when I started, right, deep learning was there, but then the GPU wasn't really that prominent. So we can't really do deep learning. What are you going to do, right? So be able to compromise, switch tasks, and continuously think of new ideas would be very important. And also, lastly, do not be afraid to try something that is not out there, okay? Especially if you're undergraduate. If you're going to succeed, chances are you got to try something that was not done before, okay? 70% of the time, old school techniques gets you the place, okay? But the next 30% is going to be depending on you, yourself. How are you going to try, how hard you try, things like that.
That's great to know. Actually, it will help a lot to people who are watching this.
Yeah, being a contrarian really helps, right? Just because other people say something is true, that doesn't mean that you have to follow. You have to bite through it to see what is wrong with their approach. So,
absolutely correct. So, yeah, with that, we would end this interview. Thank you so much, Thomas.
No, thank you for having me.
For being here, and I think I really believe that our viewer and whoever is watching this will be getting benefited from it, and they will be getting back to you. Your company descriptions and your emails informations will be provided in the description.
Okay.
And people who wants to apply can also apply through our proper channel link.
Right.
So
Thanks.
that I again thank you from on behalf of the channel, and it was a great session, Thomas.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks, Kumar.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Have a lovely day. Yeah.
You
Cheers.
too, man. You too. Bye.
Bye.